Good morning. I'm behind the camera today. Okay, so I am making beef stew. As you can tell, I knew at some point I was going to show what I put in it. I always show it already in the crock pot, but I've never actually shown. Alright, so I got these in water. I'm hoping they'll still be starchy enough to help thicken up my sauce, or, sauce as it goes on. Oh, I guess I am only missing one ingredient, so I'll just leave that there. I add about a cup of water. Anyway, so I don't normally put my potatoes in a container like this and put water, but I only have them in here and in water just so they don't brown. I had cut up all this while I was waiting to take my daughter to school. So I had all this cut up and ready to go by 7:30, but I'm not putting this in until about 9:30, so supper will be ready by 5:30. Well, it'll be done by 5:30, and then I can have 30 minutes to, if I choose to, thicken up the sauce or whatever. I usually use, yep, that was I'm heating up something for breakfast. I wanted to have something hot breakfast today. So I think I made 2 eggs again in the microwave. But anyway, to thicken up my sauce, I usually will just add a little bit of cornstarch and then, whatever. But okay, so let's get on to the stuff. All right, so inside this, oh wait, hold on. So this is about half of a bag of red potatoes, and my brand, the only one that they had at the grocery store at the time, was Green Giant. So I'm not sure how many pounds. I can't see it from here. I don't know how big, but as far as I know, the red bag potatoes is pretty average, pretty uniform in size. On how many. But anyway, I took about half of the potatoes and I just cut them up. I'm not the best at trying to do even, but I tried to get my best. So they're going to cook around, so I did a scoop of, now I just buy the minced garlic in the jar. I'll do a video on the jar probably later actually. But all I did was a scoop of minced garlic. I am running low on my big jar, so I actually will have to go buy some more. As you can see, because it's kind of liquidy. Oh, and the black stuff, that's just black pepper. I stuck my grinder really close and ground it up. Anyway, so that's all that is. And then, of course, I didn't do it yet, but I'm going to put, damn it, wrong side. I'm going to put 1 cup of water in here, and so how I usually will assemble this is I will put the meat in first, and then I will put in, I should have probably arranged them that way. I'll put the meat in first, then I'll add my 2 seasonings. So my 2 seasonings are, now I know this is kind of cheating, but whatever. You can make yours however you want. But my family seems to like these 2 options the best. So I use the slow cooker savory pot roast, even though it's not a roast, it's beef stew. And then I do the McCormick beef stew. Of course, both of them are McCormick brand. And they're just packets of seasoning. So I just dump both of these in. So I'll add my meat, and I'll add my garlic, I'll add my water, and my 2 things of seasoning, and I'll mix those up before I add any of the vegetables. But okay, so what was this? This was 3.5 pounds of meat, and I don't know how many pounds it is now. I cut out all the meat. There wasn't much. This was a bottom round roast. I usually get a top roast, but their top round roasts all looked very gristly and whatever. So, but Okay, so when you guys make a beef stew in your crock pot, now do you go ahead and do you flour these up and cook them in a separate pan before you put them in the crock pot? I will be honest, I have never done it that way, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know because I've never tried it, but let me know why people do that. I mean, I know that it supposedly keeps the meat whatever from breaking down or whatever, but isn't that the point of using a slow cooker, or is that maybe because you use a non-roast, you know, a slow cooking, one of the non-slow cooking meats? I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a culinary reason, but I have never done it and never really had an issue or never had a result where I had shitty food, you know, shitty meat. So I don't know. So anyway, yeah, this was about a half a bag of the red potatoes. Now, these are all subject to change because I normally just go by, I'll put this, that, water, and the seasoning in, and then I'll cut up I'll cut up my celery, onion, mostly just because I do the onion. This was one yellow onion, and I just cut it up. I usually don't cut it this small, and of course then I usually also go through and break them down into smaller bits. Anyway, but so I left them in this size container. I was like, I'll just try to get an even amount for both. So obviously this is yellow onion, this is carrot. So all I did with the carrot is, oh, I had some leftover little baby carrots from some other thing. So some of the carrots, like, just happened to be all three that I picked up. All right, there we go. All right, so I had some leftover baby carrots, and then these ones, it's just carrot. So all I did was peel the skin off and then just cut them to this size. Yeah. So and then I did the same thing with the celery. This was probably 5 stalks of celery, I think. Maybe 6, 5. I honestly didn't count this morning. I just was chopping up while the kids were eating cereal. So anyway, these are my ingredients that I make my beef stew out of. And I will use cornstarch maybe if I want to thicken up the sauce. But, oh, did I already say what this is? Yeah, this was bottom round roast. I don't think I've ever used bottom round for roasting. So, yeah. So hopefully it'll turn out. I usually try to get a chuck, but I don't know all the, you know, different, you know, kinds. I know what meats to get that are good for slow cooker, or, you know, that benefit from an 8-hour cook time. But, you know, from the, you know, your steaks that you would cook on the grill, I know that, you know, which cuts to get for what. But I usually get a chuck roast, and I don't know if chuck roast is this roast or if it's something else, or if it's, see, this one was the bottom, and I usually will get the top, but the top ones didn't look as good today. And okay, so pricing, all this was kind of expensive because I didn't get my meat on sale. The meat was actually kind of really pricey. So all in all, this meal probably is costing me 22 bucks. Mainly because the meat, well, no, I guess it had to be like 25 maybe bucks. Because the meat alone was $18. Because it was, what was it? It was $5 a pound, and I said this was 3.5 pounds. So yeah, so it was like 18 bucks for just this. And the potatoes, they're not terribly expensive. I think they were like $2 or something. They weren't on sale either. And the carrots were I think $2 too. And the onion was pretty cheap, like onion always usually is. And celery was actually, so I don't really see celery fluctuate in price. So celery is usually $1.50 or whatever. I don't buy organic, so none of this stuff is organic food. Because at the grocery store, organic is like always $1 more or $2 more. And there's no flavor difference, and there's hardly any beneficial nutritional difference in an organic carrot versus a, you know, normal carrot. So you weigh whatever you like. And I know some people will just prefer to mix their own seasonings, but yeah, then these were, I don't know how much these were. Do they say it on them? No, they don't, but I don't remember how much those are, but those are pretty average in price. So this meal was a little expensive today, only because I couldn't, I'll usually make a beef stew when the meat is on sale for like $3.50 a pound or $4 or something, you know, when it's really cheap. But I usually get the same amount of beef, or the same amount of meat, you know, but all right, I just figured I would make a little more in-depth description of my stuff. And this may seem like a lot, and it probably is by most people's standards, but I have a 7-quart crock pot. You've seen it in many of my other videos. My crock pot has made many debuts in my video repertoire. So anyway, all right, bye.